Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 11 in the National Football League, recapping all the games. Seattle Seahawks at home versus the Minnesota Vikings, straight out of the nothing much to see here category. Move on, nothing much to see here. This was simply one team being dominant, exerting their will over another, moving on, getting a win, and getting into their bye week. Seattle Seahawks did what they were supposed to do in this football game. No big board needed to break this one down. Seahawks took care of business versus a 1-8 Minnesota Vikings football team. It was close at the beginning. Vikings hung in for a while there. That touchdown before the half to Doug Baldwin was a backbreaker, and of course that was preceded by the Percy Harvin return. Great to see him back. Great to see the Seahawks starting to get a little healthy. Giacomini was back. So was Russell Okung. This team is starting to get healthy. This is a dangerous bunch. They got after Christian Ponder, forced him into some mistakes, stripped him of the football, forced him into some errant throws, returned one for a touchdown, another one set up a touchdown. Russell Wilson was phenomenal in this game, had a little flip pass for a TD to Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch was, well, you know, Marshawn Lynch. He was beast mode in this game. And so the Seahawks did everything they wanted to do in this game, dominated from start to finish. Again, got off to somewhat of a slow start, made a few mistakes, allowed the Vikings to hang in there for about a quarter and a half. But right before the half, they went and left them. 24-13 was the halftime score. They came out, dominated in the second half. This thing got out of control quickly in the second half. And that's what you're supposed to do to bad football teams at home. You take them out. You make sure that they don't think they have a shot. And by you scoring that touchdown right before the half and distancing yourself from them and getting this to an 11-point lead, a double-digit lead right before the half, you kind of allowed that doubt to creep into the minds of the Vikings. If you're the Minnesota Vikings, you went into the belly of the beast. You went into the most hostile environment in the National Football League, and you hung in for a half. There's no such thing as a consolation prize or any type of moral victories in sports. So while you ought to feel good for going in there and hanging in for a half, does nothing for your psyche, does nothing for you in the win-loss column. You went out and you played like you've played all season long. You hung in, but you made mistakes. Christian Ponder made mistakes at the quarterback position. Not enough holes opened up for Adrian Peterson. He wasn't able to break free. Until you have a quarterback, these are some of the challenges that you'll run into. Teams will stack the box. Teams will make it hard for him to run. They'll force your quarterback to have to beat them. Sure, he made a great throw to Jarius Wright in the end zone for a touchdown. Sure, he made some good plays to Carlson, but over the life of the game, he's going to make mistakes. It's going to cost your team. It happened in this game. Seattle came out, did everything they needed to do, took care of business. This isn't going to be a long review. It doesn't need to be. The Seattle Seahawks did what they were supposed to do at home versus a bad football team. They beat them up, pounded them into submission, won the game. And again, they're getting healthy. This is a dangerous team because they weren't at full strength and they were still winning games. Teams had opportunities to get this team and kick them while they were down, and they didn't do so. Now they're starting to get up to full strength. Now they're starting to get back all of their pieces. We saw what Percy Harvin can do on that one-handed stab that he had, on the kickoff return that he had right before the half. He's an added dimension that this team, I won't say lacked, because Golden Tate was extremely solid back in punt returns. And they were getting a spark off their kickoffs from whoever they put back there. So I don't want to say that they were lacking a spark, but he adds an element to this team that you can't get anywhere else. Percy Harvin, Percival is a different animal. And so this Seattle Seahawks team, they're steady adding pieces to the puzzle during the season. This is a guy that was on the roster, banged up, couldn't play. And they get to add this mid-season. I mean, it's almost not fair. And so this Seattle Seahawks team right now, let me be the first to congratulate you. You're the first team in the National Football League to 10 wins after this dominant performance at home, 41-20 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Again, domination from about midway through the first all the way throughout the rest of the game. The Vikings hung tough for a little while, then you ran away with this one. So you're the first team to 10 wins in the National Football League. There is currently no challenger close to your throne in this division. You're sitting pretty atop the NFC West division. The next closest competitor is at 6-4, and that's a two-way tie between Arizona and San Francisco. So let those two fight and fend for themselves at the bottom while you sit along your NFC West throne at the top. And now you're looking to secure home field advantage throughout because, again, who wants to come to Seattle and try to win a game, a place where you haven't lost in over a year and a half? Who wants to try to come into your building and get a win with the 12th man and all of that energy that is in that building? Who wants to have to come there knowing it's going to be wet, knowing that it's going to be a little miserable weather that you thrive in? Who wants to come there and play the Seattle Seahawks in December, in late January? Who wants to do that? Nobody. And so your next goal that you need to accomplish, win the division, win home field throughout in the NFC, make the playoffs, and the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC come through Seattle. And right now, again, let me be the first to congratulate you that you got the best bye in the league. You're the first to 10 wins, and you get a heck of a bye. You go on a bye week. You're at 10-1. You come off this bye. You got the battery recharged, and you can go on a nice little run toward the end of the season, finish up strong. Then you get another bye week if you continue to play the way you've been playing because you'll be off during wild card weekend in the playoffs. Then you can come back recharged again and ready to go. You're healthy. You're getting guys back. Just talked about Giacomini coming back. Just talked about Russell Okung coming back. You got Percy Harvin back. You're starting to load up all your weapons. Tell you what, this is a dangerous football team in the Seattle Seahawks, and they're playing at a very high level. Played the run defense. That was the one thing I was looking for in this game. Nothing else. I wanted to see how they would respond playing the run defense. I didn't really like what I saw out of this team run defense-wise against Tampa Bay the last time they were at home. Forget about Atlanta a week ago. Atlanta stinks. They can't do anything right. So I really wanted to see how you were able to stop Adrian Peterson and this Vikings running attack, and you did that. So that's something that I really wanted to concentrate on, and you took care of business on that end. So dominant performance for the Seattle Seahawks. They take care of business. Now they get to enjoy a bye week at 10-1. This team is playing at an extremely high level, and they've got this division all but sewn up. They just got to continue to take care of business and don't allow the New Orleans Saints to steal home field advantage throughout from you. If you take care of business down the stretch, it's all yours, and that road to the Super Bowl through the NFC will have to come through Seattle. And I see that being a daunting task for any team in the NFC. That is for certain. So one last thing on the Vikings, Christian Ponder and your quarterback situation. These last 6 weeks, that's what it's about for you in Minnesota. Figuring out if the quarterback of the future is on your roster or not. And honestly, it's between two guys. It's either Josh Freeman or it's going to be Christian Ponder. If it's neither of those guys, you must address the quarterback situation in Minnesota. It is really weighing this team down. And it's a shame because Adrian Peterson isn't going to be in his prime forever. And while he's still a dominant force in this league, you must get a quarterback that can allow him the space necessary to work. Teams are going to put 8 in the box. Teams are going to challenge you to push the ball down the field. And it's unfair to Adrian Peterson that he doesn't have any lanes to run because teams are going to stack this box. And yeah, teams did it last year and he was still able to do some things, but you're not going to have the type of success he had a season ago every single year. He needs help, and that help has to come from the quarterback position. So if you are the Vikings, these final 6 weeks need to be an audition for all the quarterbacks that you feel like have the potential to be your starter moving forward. And you got to figure out, because, again, in this offseason, you need to be making some power moves to really put yourself back in the conversation in the NFC North. You can't take any more lateral steps. You can't take any more steps backwards. Adrian Peterson isn't getting any younger. You need to start trying to win while this guy is still in the prime of his career. So that's going to do it for this installment of In the Lab Room. Seattle Seahawks take care of business once again, 41-20. They go to 10-1 on the season. Vikings drop to 2-8 on the season. Seattle took care of business, did what they were supposed to do at home versus a bad football team. Vikings did what they were supposed to do, go put up a fight, but ultimately not do enough to win. So I got a couple more videos for week number 11. So come back, join me as I continue to break down the National Football League in week number 11 in all of its splendor. So I'll see you here in a little bit as I continue to break down week number 11 in the National Football League.